G'day there. Have you got a friend, or perhaps a loved one, who has started the carnivore diet and you're a little bit concerned, you're a little bit worried about what they're doing and what they're eating and why, and it's causing some friction or tension within you and maybe even within the relationship between the two of you? Well, if that's the case, then this video is specifically for you. You're probably looking at this thing and thinking, carnivore sounds so extreme. You couldn't possibly sustain that. And how could that be healthy? Because it seems to conflict with everything we've been told, not just throughout our lifetime, but through generations, that we need to eat plenty of fresh fruit and vegetables. And so you're obviously concerned. Sometimes it's a parent, sometimes it's a partner, sometimes it's a good friend. And you're looking for a way to kind of navigate this situation. And you're now in that situation where you realize that the two of you are on completely different pages when it comes to diet and lifestyle, particularly with what they're eating. My purpose in this video is to help you see the situation from their perspective, and also to give you 8 suggestions on how you might be able to help them and support them in this decision, even though you may not necessarily agree with it. So look, if that's sounding like you, then this video is exactly for you. So why did your mum or your dad or your friend or your loved one go carnivore? What prompted this crazy decision that they made to start this way of eating? You're wondering about that. Where did they get this crazy idea from? And perhaps you think they listened to some loony on the internet, on YouTube, and they made a rash and sudden decision without looking into it properly and without researching it properly and without getting proper advice, and now you're very concerned about it. Well, look, I wanted to say first up, look, just give them a little bit more credit than that. Most carnivores I know did a lot more than just a little investigation into this. They studied up on this, they listened to people's stories, they researched it, and in many cases they made a very thorough investigation of what carnivore is all about. You see, it sounded extreme to them also. It sounded unsustainable to them. And it sounded as though, how could it possibly be healthy? You see, they've worked through all of the issues that are uppermost in your mind. They've been where you are, so they understand those questions and they understand those concerns. I can speak as somebody who has been on this way of eating and lifestyle now for getting close to 12 months. I'm coming up to my 12-month anniversary, and I never dreamed that I would do this. I never dreamed that I would do it this long or sustain it for this period of time. I was just foreign to my thinking. And when somebody starts on this way of eating, there's 2 emotions they feel. They feel very excited because they're doing something new, but they're also feeling very vulnerable. It's a very vulnerable time for them because they've made a decision, and it's a pretty big decision. It's bigger than any other way of eating. It's bigger than, trying the Weight Watchers diet or the Scarsdale diet or whatever they've done in the past. This is huge. It's monumental, and they're feeling a mixture of excitement and also vulnerability. And if you can understand those 2 emotions that they have, it will help you to get started. So I wanted to give you 8 suggestions of things that you could do, very practical things that are going to help in this situation. So I'll run through them. I've jotted them down in front of me. Number 1 is you can encourage them. Now you might say, how can I encourage them when I totally disagree with what they're doing? Good question. But I want you to think about what they have done when they've started carnivore. They have eliminated so much from their diet, because carnivore is basically an elimination diet. What have they eliminated? Well, they've cut out all sugar from their diet, both the sugar that you add, like when you put a spoon of sugar in a coffee. but gone a lot further than that and eliminated anything that has sugar in it, and nearly everything in your supermarket has sugar in it these days. They've eliminated that, and there's so many great health benefits that come from eliminating sugar. They have eliminated seed oils, those vegetable oils, and if you've done any study on those, you'll know how harmful they are. They've eliminated all the highly processed carbs. That's the things in the supermarket that have a box and a barcode, or a packet and a barcode on them. They have eliminated that stuff. They've eliminated junk food and McDonald's and all of that other stuff. They've taken that out of their diet. They've taken out all or greatly reduced their carbohydrate intake. And they have made this decision for the sake of their health. Now, that is monumental. Anybody that will stand up and say, I'm going to take responsibility for my health. I'm going to change my diet, change my lifestyle because I want to improve my health. That decision ought to be rewarded, applauded, encouraged and admired. We ought to be encouraging them all we can. I just wish more people would do something, even if it's not carnivore, but do something to be responsible for their own health and their own diet and their own longevity on this planet, their own well-being. If more people do that, it would be just the world would be such a better place. So encourage them. You may not agree with ultimately where they've landed, but they've made big and hard decisions. These are really big decisions. Don't underestimate that. They've made a big decision to do something about their health, and that ought to be encouraged, and they need encouragement. So encourage them. The second thing you can do is to listen to them. They have got a story to tell of why they started this thing in the first place, what they are eating, and what is happening in their life. And it will really help if you can be interested in what they're going through and what they're experiencing. And they'll be keen to share it with you. So listen to them, not as a way of trying to put them right, but listen to them with a genuine interest in what they're doing and why they're doing it. And this leads so easily on to point number 3 that I've jotted down here, and that is to ask them questions. Ask questions. Now, don't ask cynical questions. Don't ask questions that are guised as a way of putting them down. That's just not going to help at all. Ask genuine questions. You see, what you want to get to is their why. Why are they doing this? What has motivated them to start in the first place? You know, since I've been on the carnivore diet nearly 12 months now, there's a question that people never ask me. They never ask me why. Why did you start this? Why did you do this? Now, within the carnivore community, that question gets asked all the time. But from those who have a problem with it, those who are concerned about it, those who have some sense of opposition to it, never ask the why question. They're only wanting to put the person straight and to correct them in their thinking and to tell them why they're out of their mind. But listen so as to understand and ask them why. Listen to their reasons. Listen to their logic. They've made a pretty big decision and they didn't come to this lightly. And they will be able to explain why they're doing this and what's prompted them and what are the concerns that they have about their own health. So listen, ask why, and take it all in and be attentive to what they say. That's going to help an enormous amount. My fourth suggestion is that you can learn more. You see, if they started this journey on the carnivore diet and lifestyle, then no doubt they read something, they heard somebody share a story, they got information from somewhere that made sense to them, that was compelling and convincing enough for them to actually decide to start this journey. Well, what about if you went back and asked them what they read and who they listened to on YouTube or what influenced them? Now, again, it's very important that you don't do this in order to put them straight. I'm going to find out what this, what this joker you've been listening to is really on about. I'm going to get the goods on him and I'm going to set you straight. You see, that attitude is not going to help. It's going to make things worse. But if you can listen, if you can ask, if you can share the resources that they have been influenced by and take a genuine interest in that, it will help you to understand why they made the decision they did in the first place. So ask genuine questions and listen. Don't put them down, but listen and build them up and encourage. That's going to help enormously. Number 5, and this is a very practical suggestion, people on the carnivore diet, one of the issues that they face that is a genuine concern for many of them, some are just don't care less about it, but most people on the carnivore diet are genuinely concerned about facing social situations. And if you're their friend or their loved one, you're obviously going to be involved in not one, but ongoing social situations with them. Now, this is a situation where they're going to feel extra vulnerable, where they're going to feel that they stand out, where they're going to feel that they're put on the spot and almost having to explain why they're eating or not eating what they're eating, and all of those issues. And this is a big issue for them. So if you can do anything to help them navigate that situation, it's going to help enormously. For instance, if you have them around for a meal, don't make a big deal of it or a big speech about it or a joke about it. Simply have some meat available that they can eat, something that they can eat, and just do it as normal, as routine, and make it simple and easy for them, so that they not feel they're being made a showcase of, or they not feel that they're on trial. Remember, they're very sensitive on this particular area. So do as much as you can do to make it easy for them. Make it natural. Make it, so that it's not a big deal. Give them options and give them that freedom to choose. And I think that's going to help enormously. And if you think about it, there is a lot you can do there that will really help. Suggestion number 6 on my list is to share their victories in a very positive way. You see, they are going to want to talk about what weight they've lost. They're going to talk about health gains. I know when I started Carnivore, I lost a lot of weight. I lost over 20 kilos, but I also got rid of my blood pressure that had been sky high for a whole year, and the doctor had done nothing but put me on blood pressure tablets and continued to increase the dose. But within just a month on Carnivore, my blood pressure came down to normal. I was pretty excited about that. And so obviously I'm going to talk about that, and I'm going to tell people that when I think they're ready to listen. It's something that I'm excited about, and what I'm excited about is going to come out. So they're going to share victories. Now, you might think that they're raving on again, but they're wanting to share a victory. This is important for them because they've made this big decision. They've stepped out. They've made this radical change to the way they eat, and they're getting benefits. They're getting results. And if as much as you're able to, celebrate their victories, celebrate the things that have been improved for them in their life, and when they're sharing struggles, support them in that. Be a support, not a critic, not someone who's putting them down, but somebody who's on their side. Now, you can do all of this even though you may not agree with what they're actually eating. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. So encourage them, make it easy for them, listen to their stories, celebrate their wins, celebrate their victories, be happy with them when they have a breakthrough, because that's huge. And this is somebody you love after all. Number 7, and that is to simply remind you that you need to respect their choice. And this is true with everything in life, isn't it? We will never agree with everybody in life. People will do things that we don't agree with. I've been a parent now for nearly 40 years, and your kids will do things that you don't always agree with, but you don't break the relationship. You don't stress over it. You just continue to love and to support them, and you respect the choices that they make. And you've got to respect people's choices. You may not agree with it, it may not be your choice, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's their choice, and you've got to do all you can to respect that choice. Finally, number 8, I've got there. This one's quite important, I think, and that is to decide in your mind Which is more important, the relationship or the issue? And when you put it like that, it's always an easy question, isn't it? The relationship is always more important. And this is what we've got to grasp, that we can disagree over what we eat. We can disagree over diet and lifestyle. We can disagree on politics. We can disagree on religion. We can disagree on all sorts of things. But ultimately we decide at the end of the day, it's the relationship that matters. And we can love people and be connected with them and support them, even though we may not fully agree with them in everything they do and say. It's just logic, isn't it? But it's good to keep that perspective that, you know, maybe mum or dad or whoever it is doing this thing. You think it's crazy, but the relationship is what matters. Look, don't break a relationship over a diet. It's just not worth it. The relationship is 10,000 times more important. So focus on the relationship. Focus on that love that you have between you, that unity that's always going to be there, and that's going to help you no end. So look, friends, thanks for listening. I hope this has been of some value today in navigating this often prickly situation, and I hope you've got some benefit out of it. If you have, I would love it if you would like this video and consider subscribing to the channel. And if you've got somebody, if you're on Carnivore and you've got somebody who's having a hard time understanding your decision to go carnivore, then maybe you'd like to share this video with them as a way of having a starting point to talk together about an issue that's always been difficult between you. But anyway, I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. And until then, whatever your story is, keep telling your story.